Friends, today I have a very good news to share with you guys, and the good news is that I interviewed at Google. Yes, you heard it right. I interviewed at Google. And it's a good news for me because I have been waiting for this chance since a long time. I have applied to so many companies and I have not been receiving any response from them at all. So, this is very good news for me because I have a dream of working at Google, and getting an interview is the first step to making my dream come true. And I know so many of you guys have the similar dream, right? So you guys might have questions like, how did I get the interview? How was the interview? What kind of questions were being asked and what response did I get? So in this video, I'm going to answer all your questions, and if I miss out on any one of your questions, just let me know in the comments down below and I'll try my best to reply to your questions. Alright, starting from the first question, how did I get the interview? So it was through a referral. I knew one of my friends who was working at Google. If I were to directly apply at Google, there are so many millions, thousands of applications that Google receive each day, and if I had applied directly, the chance of me getting the interview was almost like zero. So I didn't want to lose any chance at all, and I asked her for referral and attached the link to the job as well as my resume, and she was kind enough to refer me. And the next thing that I get is an invitation from Google to apply for the job. So I was very happy. I applied for the job and I got another invitation from Google to explore more roles, and this is because Google allows us to apply for up to 3 jobs within 30 days of receiving a referral. So with just one referral, you can not only apply for 1 job or 2 jobs, but you can apply for 3 jobs within 30 days. So I applied for 3 jobs in Google, and the next thing that I received was an interview invite. So in this interview invite email, you can see that they have sent me a link for Google Meet as well as a link for Google Document. So after this, what happened in the interview? So how was my interview and what questions were asked in my interview? So the questions that were asked in my interview was easy to medium lead code style questions. So they asked me multiple follow-up questions starting with easy question. So the easy question was followed up with medium questions, and I cannot reveal the exact question that they asked, but it was an easy question and it was related to array and multiple iterations. So basically there were for loops, and we just had to use some basic data structure, no complex data structures at all. And that easy question was followed up with medium question. All right, and there was just one interviewer and one was a shadow interviewer. Shadow interviewer means he's just there to sit and observe the interview, and basically I didn't even notice the shadow interviewer. I was just communicating with the main interviewer there. And the things to remember while giving interview is that first question is not complete ever, so we should always remember to ask multiple clarifying questions, and that is what I did. I was able to observe that the question is not complete at all, and because of that I was able to ask multiple clarifying questions, and this showed that I know how to approach the solution to any problem. And the next thing to keep in mind is that we should always think out loud. So I was always communicating with my interviewer because the interviewer are there to help us, and we need to work as a team because that is what they want to see. And my interviewer was also very helpful. He was there always communicating with me. I felt like I was just working with a friend. I didn't think that it was an interview at all. So that was how my experience was. So it is always true that they are there to help us. So do not panic, just communicate with them. And next thing to remember is that always start with a brute force solution and move towards optimization. And while you are forming your solution, always evaluate the time complexity and the space complexity, because this will let you know how optimized your solution is. And before starting to code, always ask your interviewer if you can start coding. Always communicate with your interviewer. Do not just start coding right away. You can say to your interviewer that this is the solution, this is the most optimized solution you can think of, and if you can start coding or not. If you can optimize it even more, he or she will give you feedback, and if not, he will then let you start coding. And once you are coding, always use examples. And also, before starting coding, use examples and never miss on edge cases, because edge cases are very important. So whenever you are trying to come up with any approach, take examples which consist of edge cases, and that will help you save a lot of time while coding as well. So always use examples, and even after you finish coding, evaluate your code with an example. Now, talking about what is the result of the interview. Did I receive the response yet? No, I have not yet received the response from the interviewer, and I have already sent a follow-up email as well, and I'm just finger crossed waiting for the result. And I hope it is a good response that I am able to move on to the next step. I received some feedback from the interviewer, as I was allowed to ask few questions at the end, and I asked what feedbacks does the interviewer has for me for the next step in the round. And he said that I had a very good observation of the question, and that was because I asked a lot of clarifying questions. I went through each code with an example. And the other feedback he gave was that I was a little slow while coding. And one more thing was that I made a mistake while I was coding, and I was only able to identify that after I started to go over line by line of my code with an example. So that is when I recognized that mistake and I corrected that on my own. But the feedback from the interviewer was that it would have been better if I had identified the mistake and corrected it while I was coding itself. So these were the few feedbacks that I received from the interviewer. I don't know what my response, what the result would be, but I'm still finger crossed waiting for a good news. And let me know, what do you think would be the result? Will I move to the next round or not? Let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, thank you for staying till the end.